Their aura is unequal.
Well, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. Or whatever. And make it a little more raspy, and I follow directions.
Their contents are legendary.
Like that little sheet you see is his concept drawing.
Their attitude is embraced. Tune in to one of the most up and rising kaiju-sized groups within our community. So go ahead and watch all of their creative content, including that of the Raw Attitude live interview, where they have special guests ranging from actors, directors, toy creators, artists, and many, many more. You can also find them on multiple of other social media platforms, ranging from Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook. You could even sit back and watch your favorite classic monster movie and even watch us go through one of the most iconic games on Twitch. Featuring your hosts, Eric Stolp, Adrian Settle, Joe Meyers, Samson West, Jordan Adorno. They are the Monsters with Attitude.
What's going on, listeners with Attitude? Welcome to another MWA Presents Raw Attitude live interview. Back in the driver's seat, your host with the most, Mr. Joe Mama. Man, it feels so good to be back here. It's been a while, been busy with that baby boy. Joined with me, as always, is the Norwegian Nightmare, the bearded one, the legendary Eric Stolp. What's going on, Eric? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Yeah. It's been a minute for us to do an interview here. Life's been crazy. But yeah, it's good. It's good to get back into the driver's seat here and start talking to these great, wonderful guests that give up their time and to kind of shed some light on some of the stuff that we just absolutely love, and just hearing about this stuff, finding out about this stuff is it's a pleasure. So yeah, I'm excited.
Likewise. And I'm excited for our next guest for several reasons. I'm a big fan of his work, obviously, in Godzilla, but also in Underworld, which is super cool. I've heard so much, and I think you have too, Eric, that a lot of people were actually surprised when he made his appearance at Chief Fest this year to learn that there was a suit for the 98 Godzilla film. A lot of people didn't know that. So that was a really kind of like interesting tidbit for a lot of fans. And I'm excited to dive into that and all of his work. But without further ado, the 98 Godzilla himself, Mr. Kurt Carley. Thank you so much for joining, sir. How are you?
I'm well, thank you, guys. How are you doing?
Fantastic.
Good.
I'm going to start like we always do. It's a super easy icebreaker question. We do this literally to break the ice. Did you grow up with Godzilla? And if you did, what are your earliest Godzilla memories?
Yes, I did, of course, on television. And I remember watching the movie. It was odd. My parents actually sat down and watched a movie on television. And we watched the American version of Godzilla with Raymond Burr.
Yes.
And then, of course, on Saturday afternoons, there might be the odd monster movie on Saturday afternoon movie or something like that every once in a while. So yes, I did grow up with Godzilla and other monster things.
Gamera, Ultraman, things like that.
You know what? We didn't have Ultraman, though, unfortunately, and I would have been all over that as a child, I'm sure. But we did not have Ultraman.
Hot take from Eric and I is we both enjoy the American version of Godzilla with Raymond Burr more than the original. I think that probably has to do with what was available to us growing up and maybe seeing it more. But yeah, I think we both can say that we're a fan of the Americanized version more.
Right. Oh,
okay. Do you have a favorite in general? Is King of the Monsters your favorite, or do you have another one?
Well, I grew up. Godzilla versus the Smog Monster was big.
Wow.
And and I know it's not really it's kind of a Godzilla movie, right? In a way, destroy all monsters. So yes, but Godzilla versus the Smog Monster made an impression on me.
Absolutely, great choice.
That's one we hear a lot, from people that have seen the movies over here. Is that Godzilla Smog Monster? So that must have been one that was just kind of on TV, publicly or whatever, just kind of back in the day. I don't know. Like that's funny because I never saw that movie until like I had to rent the VHS like at Blockbuster for me to actually get introduced to that movie. So it's really great to hear these stories on like what movies they were kind of introduced to. So. Were you a fan of the Universal monsters? Like, did you grow up with that kind of stuff as well?
I did, and where I grew up and the age I was, we didn't really have a consistent source or well of that stuff. It was kind of catch as catch can. So I didn't grow up in a big city or anything where you potentially could have a monster chiller horror theater every week, and if there was one, I was never going to be allowed to stay up to watch it. So but yes, I certainly appreciated the classic Universal monsters. Absolutely.
Gotcha. Well, speaking of your childhood, kind of leads into our next question. Where did you grow up? What was your kind of upbringing like? What did you do as a kid? Like some of your hobbies? Like take us through that a little bit.
Well, I grew up in a little town in Pennsylvania, and my dad, he was a printer, and my mother was a housekeeper. I mean, a homemaker. And I had two older sisters, and we lived in a small town, and didn't take very long, to get to a farm, that kind of town. So we had one theater in town, and I used to spend a lot of time there, especially when I was a teenager. But television was my main, probably like a lot of people, television was my main source of getting this kind of information, this kind of exposure. And then as I got, as a teenager, Starlog magazine came out. You guys are probably too young to have purchased Starlog, but that was one of the conduits to learn more about the genre of sci-fi and monsters and all that stuff. And so we had one newsstand in our town, and I don't think every month they would get Starlog magazine. It would be, oh no, we didn't get it this month or something like that. Oh, so, but that's kind of the Reader's Digest version.
Was Starlog or Starlog you said, or Starlord?
Yeah, Starlog.
Starlog. Is it similar to kind of like a Fangoria or like a?
Yes, it was
Famous Monsters or something.
Yeah, if I have the timeline right, I think Famous Monsters was way before Starlog, but Starlog came first, and then I believe they are the same people that did Fangoria or does Fangoria.
Awesome. Okay.
But it kind of came. It kind of came out just before Star Wars did, and it was a custom-made magazine for because after Star Wars came out, of course, the floodgates opened, and there was just Battlestar Galactica, Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, Star Crash, all these sci-fi movies, and Starlog was there to interview the actors and directors, and also the special effects people about how we did this. This is how we did this or that in this movie, which was very interesting to me because, when I would sit and watch movies, how did they do that? How did they do that? So the Starlog was great at answering all those questions.
It sounds like you had a great curiosity for film and an enjoyment for film and TV as a kid. So did you always want to be in the business, be an actor or a a suit actor or special effects? Did you want to be a stuntman or director?
Yeah, I thought special effects would have been really interesting. And I came out to California and I stayed with a cousin when I was like 18, and it was difficult. I had no illusions about coming out here for a couple of weeks and getting a job working in special effects, but I just wanted to kind of get the lay of the land and find out a little bit about Los Angeles and the film business, what I could glean in 2 weeks. And it was it's a lot like a lot of businesses. Once you get in and you're good and people like you and you're not crazy, you can work. But it's that getting that first job. And so plus I like I said, I had no illusions or delusions about being able to get a job right away at 18. Didn't have a car, didn't have, would have had to have secured a place to live and all that stuff. And but I learned a lot about LA, and after my experience in LA, I said, well, like maybe I'll be a performer. So I went to college and I studied theater, and then that transitioned me into doing puppets, and then ultimately suit performing.
Wow. Fascinating.
So what was the stepping point for you to be like, you know what, I'm gonna go out to LA, and this is why I want to do it? Was somebody like influenced you, or just you were just super curious and you just wanted to get into the business kind of thing?
Oh, you mean like initially when I came when I was 18?
Yeah.
Or okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just knew, like, well, reading Starlog, that like, well, this is where they do all this stuff. And so I had to go to that ocean and find out what it was like. So I came out in a Greyhound bus and took 3 days. And my cousin was very generous and let me stay with him for a couple of weeks, and he drove me all around. And but that was why I came out when I was 18, because I wanted to see what it was like.
Right on. So you've worked on a lot of different TV and film projects. Does any one or two stand out as being the best, or maybe one or two not so best?
Well, I've enjoyed like everything I've done. I really have. Some things that stand out right away: Godzilla, because that was the first movie I did out here. I did this wild student film, which I don't know if it's ever going to come to be done, but where I played a moose that sang. A moose kind of like Bullwinkle that stood on 2 feet, and it was a musical, and I sang and danced a little bit, and I'd never done a quote unquote musical before, so that was interesting to see how you shoot a musical on film. And so that was a lot of fun. We shot that in Park City, Utah a while ago. And Batman Dead End, of course, which is Batman fights the Predator, the Alien, and the Joker. That fan film, which came out, 23 years ago? And the Underworld movies. And then also little things I've done, like help to puppeteer the shark at the beginning of Lethal Weapon 4,
really?
Land of the Lost, and Little Shop of Horrors. I got to be in the off-Broadway production in New York. That was my first professional job, being a puppeteer, or plant manipulator, as we would say it in the show. So those are some of the things that some big things and some little things that I've always remembered. I've enjoyed everything I've done, but those are just some of the things that stand out right away.
Excellent.
Was there one of them that was like super difficult for you that you just remember that you're just like, man, either I can't get this, or it just took a lot of takes to get it, or it took a long time to get it and you finally got it and you just felt relieved after you got it? Like, did you ever experience any of that?
Yeah, there was a one time on Godzilla that my friend Preston and I, who ironically I went to college with, and we reconnected years later on Godzilla, like 10 or 11 years later.
Oh, wow.
We were shooting a scene in Godzilla '98 where two baby Godzillas were fighting over a fish, and it was a second unit shot, and the camera pushes in between two double doors, and we see like two baby Godzillas in silhouette fighting over this fish. That took forever to shoot.
Really?
5 hours, which is painfully slow, considering we were. Oh, I lost you guys for a second.
We got you back if you.
Considering, now I'm lost. Considering, okay, I'm back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm back. Okay.
Yep.
Like I said, it was second unit, but there were a lot of factors. You know, the speed of the camera opening, the doors opening, the speed of the camera heading towards the doors, the right speed for the doors to open, the amount of smoke, the amount of light, all that stuff. The fish wasn't positioned right. We dropped it, but that was after 5 hours, and they started to get us out of the costume. And Preston and I, we're done. And the director said, "Let's do one more." Now, this was second unit. This was not Roland. This was second unit.
Okay. And
the directors, someone said, "We're gonna zip it back up and do another one." We were like, "We're done." No, we're done. We're exhausted. We're done. So yes, there's an example.
You know, I'm sorry, Eric. I know you have another question you want to ask. It doesn't surprise me that you say Godzilla was one of your most physically hard, because I've seen those pictures where you're having to be hunched over. I mean, that's got to be just painful after a while on your back, no matter how big and strong you are in that position with all that extra weight. And it's got to be your hips and your feet. And
well, it's a challenge. The body position is a challenge, you know, and but, you know, that's the gig, you know, that was the job. So I would never complain about it. I hope I don't come off of being complaining about it, but it's a challenge when your chest is way out over your knees, your chest is way out over your feet, and you got a tail, and you're carrying all the electronics and the weight of the suit and everything, blah, blah, blah. So, but, you know, like just about every suit you wear has its own little peculiarities and its own little physical challenges.
Yeah. There's so many stories from the original Godzilla films where some of the suit, Haru Nakajima almost drowned. They're being set on fire. The smoke inhalation, or the suits gets waterlogged and it's so hot and they've passed out in the suit. I mean, what you guys go through, you know, just is remarkable. And I don't, I hope this small podcast is a way to give you guys credit, but I don't feel like you guys get the recognition of just truly how hard work it is to bring these characters to life. Because as a kid, you're looking at them and like, oh my gosh, that's an amazing Halloween costume, and I would love to have it and go run and play with my friends. But you don't realize it until you're older how heavy and stiff, and honestly, in some instances, dangerous it can be. So much respect.
Oh, well, thank you. At G-Fest, I was walking through the event, and there was about 4 or 5 guys in Godzilla suits lined up, and they stuck me in there, and there was an opening in the back of one of the guys' costumes, and I just put my hand over there, like to put my arm around him, and I could feel the heat coming out of that, you know, and I was like, oh yeah, I've been there. I know. I know.
Yes.
You're just, I was in Canada last year shooting a commercial in a suit, and in December, and I had gotten out of the costume and I needed to get to my trailer, and I was just covered in perspiration, hot perspiration, and I walked outside into that cold Canadian air, and I just turned into like a fog machine, And one of the drivers like, "Oh my gosh, you just, the smoke coming off of you." I'm like, "Yeah, I know."
That's insane. A total side note again, Eric, I'm sorry I keep cutting you off. How was your first G-Fest? Did you have a good time?
It was great. I had such a great time. Everybody, all the attendees were so great. The people who ran it were great. It exceeded my expectations. I know that, they won't be able to, it doesn't make sense for them to invite me back for several more years. And I understand, but I'll be ready to go back whenever they want me to come back. It was fantastic. And matter of fact, Joe, I think you were the first person lined up Friday to buy pictures, I think.
I was actually going to brag about that, but thank you for bringing it up. I feel honored. It's on. I told everybody I was like the very first American Godzilla movies actor. First ever autograph was to me at G-Fest.
Yes, it was. It's here. Print that.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. No, and you were super great. You were so kind, and I took time to talk to everybody. That was so cool. So I'm glad you had a good time, and I look forward to the next time you come back. Hopefully, my wife won't go into labor, and I'll be able to come back down and talk to you longer.
Right.
Maybe we could grab a bite or a beer or something like that. And,
that would be lovely. That would be lovely, Joe. If I would happen to be in the Chicago area next year when they have it, and I had time, I would just go on my own. I would just go show up.
You should
say hello to people. It was really nice, and like I said, very well run. I've mentioned this before. I've been to some conventions. They're corporate, and but you can tell this G-Fest is run like for the fans.
Yes.
I didn't get a whiff of we're in this to make money. The people who run G-Fest were in this to make money. I didn't get that at all. Yeah. So really great.
Yeah. That's awesome. It's definitely ran by people who love this stuff and grew up loving this stuff and made it what it is today. I mean, it's literally the backstory of it is literally just a bunch of friends getting together, and it just kind of exploded from there. Mm-hmm. And they're just like us. They grew up with it. They watched it. They collect it, and they just wanted to kind of share it with everybody else. So it definitely shows that it's family oriented, and it's amazing. So it's the best time of year, honestly.
Yeah, and the fans are passionate about it. And they're really happy to be there. So great weekend. I had a great time.
Awesome.
Good. Glad to hear that. Well, with Godzilla, we've been talking about a little bit of the Godzilla. So how did you come about getting the audition for Godzilla, or how did you hear about the audition?
I was waiting tables in New York City, and I got a phone call out of the blue. My answering service, that's back when you had answering services, said this casting director from LA called. And so I called them up, and they said the producers of Independence Day are looking for someone to play Godzilla for their next movie. And so that's how it happened. I still have no idea why I got called out of, it's completely came out of the blue. And I've mentioned this before, that I got a call on a Monday. And when I woke up that morning, if you would have told me on Thursday of this week, you're going to have a meeting with the producers of Independence Day in their bungalow on the lot at 20th Century Fox, I was like, yeah, how's that supposed to happen? But that's what happened. So,
wow,
that's amazing.
What? I'm curious. What do you think got you that role? Like, do you think it was something that you did, or what did they have you do to like test for it?
Yeah, well, it was. When you first went in to meet them, and they tell you what the different techniques they want to use to bring this to life. And they would say, we're not going to show you we know what the new Godzilla looks like. We're not going to show you yet. But the next time you come in and do your best Godzilla. But we will say this, it is not the traditional Godzilla. It is different. So don't come and doing the traditional Godzilla, because that's not what it is. It's like, okay. So then you go in for the next audition, you meet a whole bunch, you meet the same people you met before, and then even more people, and the director's there, and you start doing your Godzilla, and then he would say, you know, add this to it, take this away, add that to it. Do what you did, but do it slower. Do what you did, but do it as fast as you can, but keep that serpentine feel in your body. So it was a lot of jumping through hoops. You know, okay, great. Now jump through this hoop. Now jump through that hoop. Audition, meeting, audition, and then and so I guess maybe I was ultimately hired or got the job because I was flexible, and I would just say, okay, great, and that's what we'll do. That's what I'll do. Whatever you tell me to do, I'll just do it.
Interesting.
Maybe that's why I never asked Roland why you know I got to work in the movie, and I haven't seen him since.
Did you know right away that there was going to be a suit, or forgive my ignorance, I don't know. Was there motion capture back then? Was there a possibility you would have been doing that instead of a suit, or?
It was both, Joe.
Okay.
When I had my first meeting, they said, we're going to do guy in a suit, we're going to do motion capture, and we're going to do keyframe animation. That's how we're going to do it. Gotcha. So yes, I knew right away, and I knew a little bit about motion capture. I mean, I knew the basics. But I had lots of questions I could ask, and they were very open to answering questions. But yeah, they told me right away, motion capture, guy in a suit, keyframe animation.
Fascinating. Mm-hmm. Can you take us through what like an average day on set was like, from, you know, the minute you clock, I don't know if you clock in on a movie, but the minute you showed up to the minute you left?
Right, sure. With a Baby Godzilla day, like when all of us Baby Godzillas were working, for example, in the Madison Square Garden set, where the actors were running between us and stuff. So let's say you show up at 8 a.m. and you get to, you know, you show up, you park we shot this at Sony in Culver City. So get up, eat breakfast, drive to the studio, you know, park your car, walk over to set, and then go to your trailer, and then sit there and wait. And then someone will come and knock on your door. Okay, let's go. So then you put on these very long socks that come up to your like your hips. And I generally just wore like a t-shirt and a pair of workout shorts underneath the Baby Godzilla costume. And then I had like 4 dressers each of us had like 4 dressers for the Baby Godzilla, because you certainly couldn't do it yourself. You can't zip that thing up in the back. And so you get in the costume, and there's a custom-made helmet that goes on. As they have a special harness that they hold the weight of the creature on while you're getting inside, and then they lower the head on you, and then they hook. They have like little Velcro and hooks to hook the neck in where you look, and then they glue that shut so it doesn't come open on camera. Okay. And it took about 20-25 minutes once we got going with 4 dressers to get dressed. And then, like for those particular shots, we got dressed on set because we were bolted to the stage floor. So, we were already, if I'm not mistaken, the legs were already bolted in to the floor. Now, the Mother Godzilla, that was shot in a miniature effects unit in Playa del Rey. In the old hangar where they used to keep the spruce goose that Howard Hughes built. So it's now gone. That whole facility is gone. It's all condos now. But so I'd go down, drive over to Playa del Rey and park the car and sit down and wait to be told when to get dressed, and then we get dressed. And I had like 8 dressers for the Mother Godzilla.
Wow.
You know, Karen and Karen, Carol, Enrique, Gary, Tom, Mark, Rob. That's 7. I feel like I'm forgetting someone. Anyway, but it took 7. It took us about kind of the same process getting into the Mother Godzilla as it took to get into the Baby Godzilla. Although a lot of times when we were shooting with the Mother Godzilla, we were just shooting like from the waist up. But it was that was kind of what your day was, and then you were in the costume for 5 hours or so, and then you'd get out, maybe 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, maybe 5 hours, and then you'd get out of the costume. And generally, you did that generally once a day. They would get you in, leave you in there for a long time, shoot what they needed to shoot, and then like, okay, you're wrapped for the day.
Okay.
Every once in a while, like, well, we're going to shoot a little thing with you before lunch. We'll go to lunch, and then we'll have you come back and get back in the costume and shoot more stuff. But that's kind of what it, and then go home, and take a shower. So that's what a day was like.
Did you ever get claustrophobic in there?
No, I don't. No, I did. There was one day where I was in the Mother Godzilla costume, and I was in the tunnel set, this beautiful tunnel set that they made, and I was lashed to a sled that they would push through the tunnel, and so they left me in the tunnel, which was fine. They had to check something, and of course I have a headset. I can talk and listen to my head puppeteer the whole time. But for about 10 seconds or less, I started to panic a little bit. But I was able to step out of myself and say, "Stop it," and it stopped. Because if I would not have done that, I would have just I could tell I would have had a problem. But that's the only time that ever happened, and it was irrational. Like, everything was fine, and like I said, I was glad I could stop it. I mean, I've been in a water tank, for 5 hours with a, of course I had air to breathe, a scuba air thing, but I know, and I was in a costume that I was sewn into and glued into and siliconed into. So if I choked or something, there is no, we'll just rip the mask off and give him air. I mean, I was locked in there, and that was, I was ready for that sensation of when I went into the tank, that feeling of the water filling up between my skin and the suit and working its way up and then going up over my nose, and, which might freak some people out, but mentally I was prepared for it, and it actually became very comfortable because the effects guys did me a big favor, and they made the water very warm. So I was just like in this very nice sauna, or like a hot tub, not too hot. But there was and I had a great Eddie, the stunt coordinator. He was just above me the whole time. And, he said, like, if you have any problems whatsoever, just make this motion and I will get you out of there immediately. So that was also good to know that I had the stunt coordinator having my back. The only challenge with that was they had a hydrophone in the tank so the director could give me direction. And that was just worthless because it just sounded like someone talking through a comb with wax paper on it inside of a submarine behind a glass plate. It was just like, like, why won't, Kurt, they want to know why you're not thrashing around. It's like, I can't understand a word they're saying. It's just blah, 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 blah.
That's funny.
So,
well, I'm curious. We're talking about you being in the Godzilla suit. How long did you have to shoot with the Godzilla suit?
the Mother Godzilla suit.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we started the miniature effects. I started the miniature effects unit, I think, in August, and then I shot through December.
Wow.
But then, like with the baby Godzillas, gosh, I think we started shooting with those in June, May or June, maybe June, July. So we did a couple of months of baby Godzilla work. But then we also did that. But then we started motion capture, gosh, in January. So so it was like I didn't come out on the movie full time till March, but I flew out two or three times in January and February for fittings and tweaking motion capture stuff and things like that. So it was a great long job.
Yeah. So I'm just curious, with that much filming, did you happen to lose weight with all the sweating that you did? Like, did you have to have a certain, intake of fluids?
I drank a lot. My dressers did a great job. And I know in the baby Godzilla, Carol and Karen, they did a great job of making sure I had Gatorade and water and whatever I needed. So I probably, you would definitely lose weight wearing a suit like that for hours, but it's kind of water weight. You just, drink some fluids and you'll gain it back. But I suppose I lost a little weight, but not too much, because you were burning a lot of calories doing that. And so eat a good healthy meal afterwards was also good.
Gotcha.
Eric, I'm sorry, I know you're going to go. I just have a quick side question. What kind of conditioning do you have to be in prior? Do you need to eat a bunch and maybe, build a bunch of muscle because you're not going to be able to make it to the gym and you're going to gradually get smaller? Or
well, when I was lucky when I had to audition for Godzilla, I was in excellent shape, and I've always exercised, and I've always say this, I am not saying in any way you have to be an Olympic athlete to do this, but you do need a certain level of fitness to do the job correctly. So I had a membership at the Sony gym on the lot, and I took advantage of that. So you can't the baby Godzilla and the Mother Godzilla, you really carried that costume on your thighs. So I did a lot of running. I did a lot of squats and leg exercises. But I paid attention to it because after trying on the leg extensions that Kevin Molman made for the movie, who made these custom-made leg things your legs went into, which were great. I could tell right away, oh yeah, this is going to be all thighs. It's just, so I had a couple of months to work on that, but I was still in pretty good shape. I wasn't starting at zero. I was in very good shape when we started working on the movie.
Okay. Awesome. So with you being in the Mother Godzilla suit, I don't even know which scenes are actually suit and what's CGI. Did any of the suit scenes actually make it into the movie, or did they just wipe it all clean and just do CGI, or did they do CGI over your performance?
I think the best way to say it is anytime Godzilla, anything that I did that's in the movie was pretty much where Godzilla broke through something tangible, like the side of a building, the surface of a street, the side of a tunnel. That was me. I think the first time we see the Mother Godzilla that I did was when he's down in the South Street Seaport area and he's coming up out of the water and he has boats attached to his back. That's me. But I think they put a bunch of CG rain in front of it, and it's overcast outside. That's me. And then I've said this before. I know the producers said that like we didn't use any of your motion capture, but there were motion capture scenes that I worked on with Roland that as I watched the movie for the first time, I knew every movement that Godzilla would make because I did all those movements in the motion capture stage with Roland. But the producers said that they didn't use any of the motion capture. So and the people who did the animation were fantastic. But I don't know if it was like, well, you know what, animate it, but use this as a template. I don't know. Gotcha. But like I said, when I watched the movie, there were a couple scenes where I was like, he's going to stop, look to the left, look to the right, take a step, stop, look to the, I knew it. And I still, if I watched the movie today, I could, I haven't seen the movie in a long time, but I could still tell you everything Godzilla does.
Were you maybe you weren't, but were you the one who jumped in the bay?
No.
Okay.
No. Talk about a death sentence. With that costume on, you just like sink, just all that foam latex absorbing all that water, and you just sink right to the bottom. And you immediately, I don't know how much heavier you would become with all that water soaked in. Plus, they're never going to do that with all the electronics and everything like that the head had and the tail. Like, no, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I worked. Yeah, no, absolutely. We worked on swimming motion on the motion capture stage. We did work on that. But I know I worked on this movie called Lady in the Water with M. Night Shyamalan, and I played a character called a Tartutic, and I was next to this other wolf-like character called a Scrunt, and it was mechanical, and I was kneeling next to the Scrunt on camera, and the Scrunt started to fall, and we were in rain, and it was at nighttime, and the Scrunt started to fall over, and I grabbed, because I was like, I don't think they want this thing to get wet. I mean, I know it's raining, but they don't want to fall into a puddle, and I prevented it, and one of the head robotics guys like, thank you. Just thank you. Kind of like with subtext, like you saved us a lot of effort. So that don't get that stuff too wet. So jumping into a tank with the Godzilla suit, that'd have been not going to work.
Should have paid you double for that day.
I get a stunt bump.
Yeah. Okay, I have a two-parter here. So hear me out. It's going to start a little rough, but it'll get better at the end. When 98 first came out, it was not.
It'll all make sense. Okay.
Yes, it'll all make sense. Yeah. Yes. When the 98 film came out, it was met with some pretty harsh criticism from critics and fans alike. Hearing that at first, how'd that make you feel? Did you take that personally, or were you just like, hey, I did the best that I could, and people's opinions are what they are?
Right. My attitude is we did the best we could. Yeah. Because it wasn't just me. It really, I know it's cliche to say, but it really wasn't just me. It was all the people who, Patrick who designed it, and the people who sculpted it, and all the mechanics and the electronics people and the computer designers who designed all the stuff, and the seamstresses and the people who painted it. But when the movie came out, was I disappointed that it wasn't this box office smash? Sure, absolutely. But I was certainly mature enough to know, like, well, okay, it is what it is, and also it's not like they're seeing this face. So it's not like I'm walking down the street and going to be the object of scorn and ridicule. So I was disappointed the movie wasn't Independence Day successful. But hey, that's that's the way it goes. So it didn't bother me. I didn't have to journal about it. I didn't have to go see a therapist. I was on to the next thing.
Yeah. So that leads me to my second part, which all these years later, was it 27 years later?
Yeah,
I feel like there is actually starting to be a softer approach to the film where there is a new appreciation for it, myself included. I'll be the first one to admit, I've talked about it on many of our prior shows where I got wrapped up, and I was a kid. I was 8-9 years old when it came out. I got wrapped up in the negative reviews and things from fans. When I first saw the film, I liked it, but I let all these other people skew my opinion of it for a long time. And I would say probably about 10 years ago, I was like, you know what? Like, I'm not going to hate this film anymore. It's actually a really fun monster movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would necessarily go in that design for Godzilla but that's my opinion.
Yeah.
But one of the greatest things that this film did at the time, almost 30 years ago, is it opened the door to Godzilla for a bunch of people who may not have ever went and saw the Japanese Godzilla films or anything of that. And we may have had to wait another 16 years for the MonsterVerse to come out to open that door to people. But by then, they would have already been adults. So looking at it like that, and even from fans like myself who have had a change of heart, does it make you feel kind of good knowing like, hey, maybe it wasn't as appreciated back then, but there's a lot of people now that actually think it's pretty cool?
Yes, it wasn't until about 4 years ago that I was at an event signing autographs, and a young lady came up, and I gave her an autograph photo, and she said, "Oh, I have something for you." And she had drawn a drawing of the Godzilla I did with the baby Godzilla, and she wrote on there, "Thank you for being my introduction to Godzilla."
Yes.
And so ever since then, I've people of a certain age who grew up with it, who didn't have any not prejudices, but didn't have any other reference point. You know what I mean? They just grew up and they liked the movie. And so I have noticed that in the last 4 years or so, and that's very gratifying. That's very nice. Of course, it's nice when someone comes up and tells you how much they enjoyed something that you were part of. So that's been very gratifying and very nice. So it's a big bonus, a big bonus. Like, yes, I got to be Godzilla, and now 20 some years later, people are telling me how much they really enjoyed it. Because that was what they had when they were a kid.
And I actually think that in a lot of ways, this is going to be another hot take for the fandom. In a lot of ways, I think that your Godzilla, some of the mythos and the build-up in the movie to the first appearance of Godzilla is done better than the most recent Legendary movies.
Okay,
Like, there's actually a lot of things where I'm like, maybe I like the Legendary design more, but as far as like what that build up and that kind of, orchestral crescendo, type thing, I think you guys kind of did it better. If I'm honest, I do. So sorry.
Well, thank you. I will leave that praise though for the writer. No. I'll leave that praise for the authors and the director and the editors. So, and also the music people. So, but thank you. Thank you. That's nice of you to say.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to go to another franchise because we've talked about Godzilla a bunch, but I want to talk about another franchise that I absolutely love and adore. And you were part of the Underworld franchise, and you were part of several films actually.
Yes.
How did you get that? How did you get that role?
Yeah, I did the first three.
How did you become that? Yeah. Okay.
I got it through the time-honored tradition of knowing somebody.
Perfect.
Patrick Totopoulos, who designed Godzilla, he designed the werewolves for the Underworld movies, and so they put me at, they got me an audition with the director, and I got a job, and so I did. That's why I could do the job also. But yeah, I mean, it's like in a lot of businesses, it's relationships, and so that's the readers. That's how I got it. Was Patrick got me the audition, and then I got the job. And it wasn't just me. There were a lot of other guys playing, werewolves in those movies too.
Yeah. Excellent.
I never knew that Patrick designed both. That's interesting.
Yeah, he's done a lot of interesting stuff. Like iRobot. I think he designed the robot for that, and some other stuff.
Okay.
And I don't know. I mean, I don't want to. Just look him up on IMDb. He's done a lot of great stuff, but Stargate and Independence Day, Godzilla, the Underworld movies, and I'm leaving out a lot of stuff. Forgive me, Patrick. Sorry, but just go check out Patrick Totopoulos's IMDb, and you'll see he's designed a lot of great stuff. I remember being. Like his office would be open, and there would be like these fantastic drawings that he did, for upcoming projects and stuff. Just like, wow, this looks really cool. So, yeah, he's a great guy.
When you get into these roles, whether it be Godzilla or the Lycans, anything, what direction are you looking for from a director, or what are you looking to be told in order to find the character?
Well, you kind of show up hopefully with the, with a lot of ideas about what it will be like, and be flexible. What I want to hear is, you never hear it though. What you want to hear is perfect. Don't change a thing. But that doesn't really happen. Sometimes it does, but, when I've worked on low budget movies, I have said to the director, I said, because, an actor, like, well, how am I going to deliver this line? What word am I going to stress? Am I going to pause here? I don't have that. I just got my body and how I move. And so I've said to, like, when I work at, like I said, when I work on a low budget film, time and money are just, essential. And I've said, hey, if you want me to do something and you tell me to do it, and we do a take and I'm not getting it, just come over and show me exactly what you want me to do, and I'll make it my own, and you'll get your shot, and we can move on. And they've all loved that. They're like, thank you. Yes. Because, that's I learned that lesson the hard way working on Godzilla. Roland on the motion capture stage wanted me to do something, and I was just not understanding the words until Danny, the person who was in charge of the computer, Kurt, Roland wants you to do this, and then once he showed, like, oh, I get it now. I get it.
Gotcha.
But when you're working on a bigger budget movie, you still got to show up with a bunch of ideas and be flexible in what the director wants you to do. Generally the Reader's Digest thing is make it look cool, and don't make it look like a guy in a suit. Make it look cool, and generally, especially if it's not kind of a human kind of form, like the werewolves in Underworld were kind of human, like we were standing on two legs and stuff. But whenever you put yourself in the most physical pain you can, that's when they really get excited and they tell you, great, do that again. Like Like, like I am in so much pain right now, but I can't tell anyone. And that's when you hear, perfect, do it again. So yeah, make it look cool, have a lot of ideas, and just put yourself in as much physical pain as possible, and you'll be all right.
Oh my goodness, that's so great. So I know you did obviously a lot of the suit performance and stuff, but very little in Godzilla. You got to work with like the main cast, maybe as one of the baby Godzilla.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
in Underworld, as you being a Lycan, you got to work more probably closely with the main cast. Did you get to have any like interactions with them, maybe outside or on set, that were really fun? And I mean, if you know Kate Beckinsale by chance, she is my Hollywood crush. I mean, yes. So say hi to her for me if you could, please.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, like what kind of interaction did you have with some of those castmates?
I worked a lot, especially on the second Underworld movie, with Scott Speedman and Kate.
Yeah.
And so I fought Scott in a couple different scenarios, like in a tunnel, I think we fought, and then we fought outside in the snow. And man, I felt sorry for Scott because it was in the middle of the night on the side of a mountain in Canada, and he had to be shirtless. At least I was in a, but Scott was great to work with. He very professional, and he knew that, like I have limited visibility, and so he was very patient with everything we were doing. Kate was, and so Scott was great. Kate was great also. We spent, I don't know, many hours. I spent many hours trying to kill her. I chased her in a tunnel, and her husband at the time was the director of the movie, and of course, put your hands around her throat, like, okay, I don't want to hurt her, so you just place your hands on her throat. Squeeze, don't squeeze, but she was great, very funny, but unfortunately, if I walked into a restaurant and Kate would happen to be there, she would not know who I am. And that is no knock against her. Generally, when I saw her on set, I was in a werewolf costume, and she has killed me multiple times over a couple movies I worked with her. But if I explained to her who I was, I'm sure she would remember. But she's a lovely person. I have nothing. I know you're not looking for dirt or anything, but I have nothing bad to say about her or Scott. They were great to work with, and
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But if I do see her, I'll tell her. I'll tell her.
Thank you.
You're not the only person that told me that, also. So.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I think every guy had a crush on her during that, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Even now, she's aged beautifully.
Oh,
yes.
Oh my gosh.
Kurt, we've been going for an hour. We want to be respectful of your time, but I'll be honest.
I can keep going if you'd like to a little bit.
Well, I would say yes, but I have to be on baby duty, unfortunately.
Oh,
and my wife is being
that is more important than us talking about Godzilla. That is.
I would love to, though. But what I was going to say is that I would love to have you back for a part 2 sometime in the future if you're willing. I think it would be a lot of fun.
Absolutely, guys. Absolutely.
Before we go, the floor is yours. Any upcoming conventions or appearances that you would like to plug, or any works that you want to get out there? The rest of the time is yours.
Thank you. I'm going to pull the classic show business thing. I'm working on a thing that I can't talk about, so let me talk about it. I'm working on a show right now, a TV show I can't talk about. Because I've signed a non-disclosure agreement. So why did you talk about it, Kurt? Well, I just want to feel like I'm important. And I'm going to be in Puerto Rico next month at the Horrific Expo I hope I'm going to pronounce this right, Aquana, Puerto Rico, which is in the western part of the island. So I'm going to be there for a couple days for their Horrific Expo. And I've got hopefully a movie coming out that I can't talk about until it comes out. So, but yeah, so I've got some stuff going on, and you can reach me at my website, kurtcarley.com, or I'm on Instagram, and I enjoy interacting with people on Instagram, but I'm terrible. I have a white belt in social media, so I don't have a black belt in social media. So if people like try to connect with me on Instagram, I'm not ignoring you. It's just I'm learning how to do all the ins and outs of Instagram. So, but I'm on Instagram. It's Kurt Carley 3000 on Instagram. Kurt Carley 3000, and excellent. My website is kurtcarley.com, as I said.
Excellent. Eric, any last questions, comments before we wrap it up?
No, just thank you for your time, Kurt. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for putting inspiration and this imagination in our heads for playing a character that we absolutely fell in love with, regardless on what it looks like. And if it wasn't the one that we have grown up on or anything, it has the Godzilla name, so it is Godzilla. So that's all that matters. And just, best of luck to your upcoming projects, and to just wish nothing but the best for you, and just thank you for being just an awesome person. So.
Oh, that's very kind of you guys. Thank you. I had a great time. And yes, down the road, you want to do this again? Absolutely. You have my contact information. Just reach out.
Yeah, I will. Thank you, Eric, for co-hosting this with me. I appreciate it, buddy. Kurt, thank you again so much. To all the listeners that are watching live, we appreciate you guys. To those of you that will watch in the future, thank you as well. Check out Kurt on his social medias as well as these upcoming conventions. How cool is that? I wish I would live close. I don't live close to Puerto Rico because I'm in the States, but I wish I could get there quickly because number one, I want to go. It's beautiful there. And number two, it'd be great to interact with you. Kurt, you deserve all the success that you've had, are having, and will have. You're truly a gentleman. We appreciate it. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. Until next time, everybody. Eric, how does it go? What is it? One phrase, 3 words. Embrace the attitude.
Embrace the attitude.
Embrace the attitude. Bye, everybody.